Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Chakras and Cusswords podcast. My name is Catherine and I am your host. Okay, we are going to talk about November, some of the main things that occurred in November, some of the viral moments I want to talk about in November, how November has been for me on a personal space, just like a lot of the energy that has occurred in November. And I don't know what is the reasoning. Is it because it's Scorpio season and everything is related to just kind of more obstacles, more energy of secrets, more energy of death and decay. Scorpio season, we have Halloween and we have that energy of just the whole energy of the world, the whole energy of the environment, the whole energy of the seasons shifting. And sometimes it can feel very intense and it could also feel very dark and gloomy. It's kind of like that energy that for me, November was a very, very challenging month. Personally, it was very difficult for me. I had a friend, a very close friend, my friend Sherry. She passed away of ALS, and we knew it was coming. She talked to us about it. I was definitely one of the people that she told when she got diagnosed. And when you hear that somebody has a terminal illness, or when you hear somebody is probably going to pass away in a year or so, or maybe 2 to 3 years, it's very weird the way that grief kind of portrays, right? A lot of times we're no, we're in denial. We're in all the 3 stages. We're no, then we're angry. Then it's kind of set into the emotion that this is really what's going to happen. And in all honesty, I can't speak too much on, how she dealt with it. I could not imagine, because just seeing how that disease took over her life in the last year, and the amount of muscle strength and the amount of the nerves not being able to respond to the muscles, and just how she had no control over her physical body, but while her brain was still basically alert, oriented, it was just very, very, it was just very, very hard. I could only imagine the pain and suffering that her family went through. And I don't want to speak too much on her situation, but just knowing that something like that has happened to a friend and somebody that I love, and somebody that I definitely considered one of my soul sisters, one of the people who I feel like I had a connection with. Our story was very interesting. We met in the emergency room, and then she left to go to where I'm at now. And I would definitely say she was one of my friends in the emergency room. Absolutely adored her. She was one of the sweetest people I have ever met. And that's kind of how I am. I look at how you treat people, and she was one of those people who treated other people very kind. So automatically, me and her had a connection. And then she went to where I'm at now. And she was the nurse who trained me into my charge nurse position. And she was the one who basically showed me the ropes of being where it is that I'm at now. And me and her, definitely our relationship grew. And then it seemed once she left that position, she got sick, and then we found out about her diagnosis. So literally in the last year and a half, we knew she had this diagnosis, and it almost felt unreal how fast this disease took over her body. And it was so fucking sad. So I've been grieving the loss of my friend, And then in November, I go to my cardiology appointment, and I just kind of find out that there's, so for those who don't know, I have transposition of the great vessels. It is a very rare cardiac defect. I was born with it in 1978. I have a heart condition. I still have transposition of the great vessels, where it basically means that my right ventricle does the work of my left ventricle, and my left ventricle does the work of my right. So instead of the left pumping the blood to the body, it just pumps the blood to the lungs. And then my right ventricle is the ventricle that pumps the blood to the body. So they made shunts so my blood can get oxygenated and I can live. It was a surgery that I had to have when I was like less than 1 year old. And luckily for us, this generation of people with transposition of the great vessels and heart disease, luckily for us, we're able to be alive. Medical and medical technology saved us, where we had this life-saving procedure. But one of the downfalls about it is there's not many of us, because we were kind of like the first. So like growing up, I realized, because cardiologists would tell me, like, you are the old people. We don't know like what your life expectancy is going to be, because we've been, studying you guys, and we've been researching, and we take it as it goes. I always knew that my heart was allowing me to be as normal as possible, but there was definitely some limitations. Like with cardio, I get kind of winded, and now with age, it's just kind of like shifted a little bit in a direction that has been a little bit more challenging for me, especially with cardio. I've never liked cardio. I've always liked lifting weights, but my cardiologist does not want me to lift hard because of the strenuous activity that occurs with the heart. And I know probably half of you are like, girl, we don't care about any of this stuff. Can you just tell us about the astrology? But this is the shit that I've been going through since November. So I went to the cardiologist, and basically I had a cardiac MRI, and it showed that I had more dilation in my right ventricle, which basically means that my right ventricle is a little bit more enlarged, and also that there is that the fibers and the contractility of the heart may have a decreased ejection fraction, and also it may be a little bit, I guess you could say almost like thinner, or worked a little bit harder, which we all know it's not a significant event, but it's nothing like they're going to say like, hey girl, you need to do open heart surgery or anything like that. But what happened was my doctor decided to put me on meds, more meds. I'm already on 2 heart medications. I'm on a beta blocker. For those who are into the medical profession, I'm on a beta blocker, and I'm also on losartan, which has a lot of, I believe it helps with the contractility of the heart, of the right ventricle. So my doctor wanted to put me on Jardiance, which in all honesty is for, traditionally it is for diabetes. I'm not diabetic. My A1C is beautiful. But it's also used to help patients with heart failure. So my doctor put me on it. I'm not in heart failure, if that's what some of you are guessing. But it was a very challenging time for me, because people who have a heart defect, people who have a chronic medical condition, especially if it was developed when you were young, there's just a lot of energy of, why is this happening to me? Being sad, grief, depression, all those things. And it is a balance of trying to work through these obstacles through life. And like I said, I am very fucking blessed to have my health. And I'm very blessed because I know there's so many people going through so much more with their family units and with their livelihood and with their life and with their health them versus me. But it was hard for me to get put on another med because a lot of times I'm very reluctant to be putting on a lot of meds because I don't see that something is wrong with me, except for the shortness of breath. But for the most part, I don't see that something's wrong with me. And then to be told, like, you need to be on this because it's a preventive is a little bit different. It's just a little bit different. But anyway, so November was a very challenging month for me. A lot of crying took place, a lot of emotional ups and downs, and just being grateful for where I am now, but also having those challenges and those moments kind of come back up and resurface again. Definitely challenging. And then with the passing of my friend Sherry, going to the cardiologist, it all just kind of made me look at life as a whole. You know, we can't predict anything that's going to happen to us. We can't predict what the future brings, but how can we prepare that when it is our time to go, how are we leaving this earth, and how are we leaving the ones behind us, and how do we move forward? So in our next journey. So it was definitely a very life reflective month for me. But yeah, so I didn't do too much of the reflection. I didn't take notes. I usually take notes, but the month of November definitely was a month that I just kind of was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know who I am. Okay, so let's get into the reflection of some of the astrology for November. Some of the viral topics, but I will be honest, it's probably not going to go with the dates that much, but it is what it is. So the beginning of November, we had Trump wins the 2024 presidential election. And I did a lot about this winning. I did talk about it. I did do an episode for it. So I'm sure many of you guys heard it. If you agree with America, if you agree with the situation, honey, I'm happy for you. If you don't, pass the box of tissues. But I think there's a big energy that it's time to move on. And it's time to prepare for what it is that we need to do as a nation and as an individual, how it is that you take in this new energy of what is to basically move forward. What's also interesting about Trump winning, when I go back and I look at the astrology, I did read his birth chart, and I remember I thought that his energy was very chaotic. But another thing that kind of stood out to me was when spending time and looking at it again, I definitely felt like the astrology was better for Kamala Harris, but right around November 3rd, we have Mars enters Leo, and then we also have the energy of Mars in Cancer opposing his Pluto. We have Mars in Cancer opposing Pluto in Capricorn. So I think a lot of astrologers just felt that Trump was not supposed to win, but he did. And I think the Mars enters Leo probably helped him on that energy of the ascendant. A lot of people see him as a Leo, so maybe that Leo energy kind of gave him that fiery intensity. And he did go really hard the last 2 weeks before his presidential election. He was on Joe Rogan. He was with Elon Musk. He was really doing all the things. And we have this whole astrology gate that is, occurring on TikTok. A lot of astrologers or quote unquote people who are spiritualists or psychic mediums felt that Trump was going to win. A lot of people changed their predictions. So I'm not sure if the majority of the TikTok astrologers were watching other TikTok astrologers and then they said, oh, they're predicting it's Kamala. I better predict it's Kamala too. That sounds like who's going to win. Or if they were looking at the polls and seeing that Kamala was in the lead. But a lot of them feel that Trump will not be president. They feel like something's going to happen. I've looked at his chart. I don't really see anything that makes me think that something bad is going to happen, except for the Pluto in Aquarius. So once Pluto shifted back to Aquarius, a lot of astrologers were saying, wait for that day for Pluto to shift back to Aquarius and something's big's going to happen. Well, Pluto does shift into Aquarius, and it is at a critical degree, of course, because it is a newly shift onto that area about 0 degrees. But what's occurring is that Pluto is shifting into his 6th house. So a lot of people are thinking that's going to be an area of change and also an area of movement or death to certain situations because of Pluto being in the 6th. That has a lot of resemblation towards the energy of health and wealth, Definitely health. Health is your wealth. So if Trump, for whatever reason, becomes unhealthy, that doesn't necessarily mean that Kamala Harris is going to win the presidency. I think J.D. Vance is the one who takes over, right? I mean, isn't that how politics go? But who knows, what these TikTok astrologers are thinking and what these psychic mediums are thinking. But I did feel like intuitively Trump was going to win, and I think it kind of showed me to go with your intuition when you are looking at predictions and you are looking at making predictions. I do consider myself way more of an intuitive astrologer versus a astrologer who's like, when it's at this degree, Oh, God. Because even those astrologers got it fucking wrong. So, save me, cry me a river, and just the ego behind it. But I understand astrology is not considered a spiritual practice. It's considered more centered around the energy of resource and research and learning and being a language base and correction and emphasis on that. But I honestly feel like to be a good astrologer, you have to be intuitive. I feel like there has to be some energy where you resemble with the collective and the collective resembles around you. So, a lot of us were waiting to see what was going to happen. Trump won. And so far, some people are mad at me on YouTube because I called it a landslide. I exaggerate a little bit, okay? Don't blame me, honey. Blame my Mercury in Aquarius. So I exaggerate a little bit. That's just the way it is. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. If you want to listen to somebody who's super on data and all this database bullshit, go ahead. But me, I'm trying to keep it lively and fun, okay? But I guess if Trump was not your man, you don't think it's funny. So that was something that was big that kind of happened with some of the stories. Also, can we talk about Elon Musk? Elon Musk, when I look at Elon Musk, I really honestly, and I know some people don't like this notion, but Elon Musk, I think he is going to be a revolutionary, and especially since he is supporting Trump, I feel like there is going to be some type of I don't know, he's going to be somebody who definitely is going to keep technology moving and have all these innovative ideas that are really going to be kind of seen as new wave energy. But also right around November 7th, when we look at that energy of Trump winning, you kind of heard a little bit of the backstory of Elon Musk, and who he is as a person. I'll be honest, I didn't realize this fool had that many fucking kids. I really did not realize that he was just out here being a hoe. Honey, if you guys are talking about Nick Cannon, you got to talk about Elon Musk too, because apparently he's got hella babies all over the fucking place. And Elon Musk has an estranged trans daughter who basically said that she was killed by the woke mind virus and has vowed to leave the United States because of Trump winning. So him and this daughter, who's 28, her name's Vivian Jenna Wilson, she cut ties with her dad. And I'm going to say, honey, cut all them ties with your dad because your dad's a hot mess. And I don't know if it's money. I don't know if it's centered around some type of white supremacy that he wants to go ahead and just populate like crazy. I don't understand why these men are having all these biological children out of multiple homes. It doesn't fucking make sense to me. Like, be a father to the kids you have. You're just spreading your fucking seed everywhere. Why? Because you're Elon Musk and you have money. And I don't know. It's just fucking weird to me. And so does Trump. Trump has a gang of fucking baby mamas and kids too. Like, he's got what? 3 baby mamas? Oh, honey. Trump, get out of here. And then all these guys are talking about like Christian values. I cannot. I fucking can't. Like, I cannot. Keep your fucking legs closed, please. Cross those legs, you fuck boys. Like, I mean, I'm just like, what? So, she basically said, I thought for this for a while, but yesterday I confirmed it. It confirmed it for me. I don't see my future being in the United States, she wrote. She wrote this on Threads because she's not fucking using X. A lot of people believe that Elon Musk helped Trump win because of X. And, there are videos, you could research them. I don't want to make this podcast too long, but you can research them. There definitely are videos that show that Elon Musk has definitely helped Trump win. He spread a lot of nonsense out there, but, whatever. So she basically said, even if he's only in office for 4 years, even if the anti-trans regulations magically don't happen, the people who willingly voted this in are not going anywhere anytime soon, she added. I agree with her. I agree that the people who voted Trump in, and like I said, I know some people want us to sway one way or the other. I do believe that some people who voted for Trump because they didn't feel like Kamala was going to improve the economy. I don't necessarily know if Trump's going to improve the economy that much, but we will see, right? And it's not necessarily because they agree with Trump's thinking, because fuck. Let's not talk about politics. Politics gives me a fucking headache. But that's all that's going around. So I get it. And then, we're waiting to see what occurs, right? We're waiting to see what occurs. But it is what it is. Then also around November 11th, which I thought was really like cute girl energy, because Venus enters Capricorn, we have Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly are expecting a little bundle of joy. So it was revealed that Megan Fox is expecting her 4th child. She put it on an Instagram post, and she was covered in like this black oil, and she's basically cradling her baby bump. I thought it was very, on brand for Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly. Like, she's not going to be in a forest with a white silhouette and the baby bump. Like, she's going to do something a little controversial and a little creepy, like, and sinister and fucking dark feminine energy. Like, I love it. I'm here for the dark feminine. I'm also here for everything spooky. I like it. Me personally, I don't think I would be putting black oil or black whatever it is all over me. But the fact that they did this on Venus enters Capricorn, like, Venus enter Capricorn is very like romantic. It's traditional, but it's like all tied into like reputations, also like your legacy. So it kind of made sense. I believe both her and Machine Gun Kelly are Tauruses. So it did feel like very earth aligned. But honestly, for me, I would definitely either be in like the ocean, or I would want to be like somewhere beautiful. I wouldn't want black soot on me or black oily nastiness on me. Like it just looked, but I get it. It's on brand for her. And not really my cup of tea, but it is what it is. Also, another thing that kind of has been going on with the Diddy case, which occurred right around November 13th. So we do have that Venus inter Capricorn, where we see a lot of energy around the movement of responsibilities and also the movement of boundaries. So the ex-bodyguard of Diddy, who was mentioned in the Talia Graves case, which was one of the ladies who gave it was like very hard to watch or even to watch the commentary on it because she gave graphic details in her lawsuit of what occurred, and it was very, very disturbing. So Joseph Sherman sues Talia Graves on November 7th, and this all kind of like came out around November 13th. But basically, the former security guard, Big Joe Sherman, sued Talia Graves because he's basically saying she's accusing him of something he did not do. So she sued him for defamation, negligence, and vicious allegations, malicious prosecution, intentional to inflict of emotional distress. So he's basically saying that the plaintiff stated that he was, one of the men who allegedly abused her and had relationships without consent. He's saying that he has texts of her basically saying, like, I'll give you some money if you back up my story. So this fucking shit is a hot ass mess. I definitely think Diddy is an abuser, as we can all see, but I do think there's people who are also using this as an opportunity. So I want to talk about the Tyson fight. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So Jake Paul and Mike Tyson had a fight. Basically, it was on that full moon energy of full moon in Taurus. I believe it was that Friday night. And the fight was just kind of weird. So I feel like it was just an intentional money grab. So Jake Paul defeated former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson via anonymous decision. It looked like Mike Tyson was going to fuck him up. Like when I saw Mike Tyson running around and practicing, he was like, whoo, whoo, whoo. And I was like, whoa. Tyson's gonna give this Gen Z something to learn about. This Gen Xer is gonna put him in another dimension, honey. But no, didn't happen like that. I don't know what happened. But yeah, so the fight was in front of 72,000 fans in AT&T Stadium in Dallas, which most of the fight was controlled by Mr. Paul, Jake Paul, because he was the one who, I guess, put this together. And it seemed like, it was kind of like a publicity stunt because he wants to be seen as a real fighter. Okay, first of all, let's get into this. Now, my thing with Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson probably need the money. Mike Tyson, he hasn't made the best life decisions. Okay. Can we just fucking keep that shit real? He hasn't made all the best life decisions. He's had definitely some challenges in his life. He had a daughter who passed away at a very early age from a traumatic accident. So he's definitely had some life challenges. Do I think that Mike Tyson still has money? Absolutely. Do I think that Tyson needed money? Absolutely. Did this feel like a chance for Tyson to kind of get his name out there, maybe get some more sponsorships and, get back into getting what it is that he wanted to get on the energy of his career? Possibly. But to me, Jake Paul is, I don't know. He's like a YouTuber. And nothing against YouTubers. Maybe he really wants to be a YouTuber who has now fell in love with boxing. I just felt that the way that Jake Paul and his brother, I don't even know who his brother is, but the way they talked to Mike Tyson, the way the brother talking about, I would fucking kill you, Mike. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Sit down, please. Do you know what I mean? Like, you guys are fighting a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Save that energy for somebody your age and somebody who is a professional boxer that is your age. You obviously whispered something in Mike Tyson's ear like, oh, hold on, you're winding me, or hold on, because then Mike Tyson just kind of like danced around the whole fucking ring. I personally think if Mike Tyson wanted to, he could have fucked Jake Paul up, but he didn't because he was getting a check and he knew the script. And I think that's another thing that we have to remember is all this shit is fucking scripted. All these games are scripted. All this nonsense is scripted. So I felt kind of bad for Mike Tyson because I felt like they were such like little disrespectful punks, where if it was me, I might have said, boom, boom. But I don't know. Okay, so I don't feel like it tainted Mike Tyson's legacy. I just felt like it kind of showed that sometimes these celebrities run out of money and they do some shit they probably never thought they were going to do. And it is what it is, right? But there's one story that I want to talk about before we get into the astrology, and I'm not trying to make this podcast too long, but it looks like it's going to be a long one, so get your earphones in and, start to do everything that is going to get you ready for this story. This story is very, very interesting. Very interesting. So this story, it kind of occurred like a couple days ago. So basically this YouTuber, she's like known as being the trophy wife. She goes by the name Isis. I can't really tell you too much about her channel. I don't watch it. I do sometimes watch the clips of Sprinkle, who is Shara7. And she basically talks about like finding a man with money. And she kind of like talks about like having etiquette and like dressing a certain way. And she, I personally enjoy her personality. And basically she talks about being the persona of a trophy wife, right? So there's this one trophy wife who comes on YouTube and she basically speaks out that her husband was abusing her daughter. She has 2 daughters. And of course, horrific story, very, very upsetting, to be in an abusive relationship. But there are some things that I want to talk about, and I'm not trying to victim blame, but I'm just trying to keep it real. First of all, after watching some of this girl's content and seeing other creators talk about her, it seemed like she was very much a woman who was looking for a man to take care of her, looking for a man to be her sugar daddy. And that's kind of like the whole persona that they're giving, right? That you're the trophy wife. When you're a trophy wife, you lose a lot of self-control, of energy, of independence. You aren't able to control any of the situations because you are basically on the beck and call of this man who is considered the high-profile man. I don't necessarily think that if you are a single mom, which she was, and I'm not trying to victim blame, but if you're a single mom, you should be out here looking for a man to take care of you. Because what you have to remember is that there's a lot of fucking PDF files out here who target single moms because single moms are seen as vulnerable. I'm not saying that single moms are vulnerable. I'm just saying that it gives these PDF files an opportunity to basically get themselves closer to a woman who needs somebody to take care of them. And when you're giving up your own independence and you're giving up your own strength and you're giving up your own structure and allowing femininity, that softer side of nourishing somebody, caring for this man just for areas of wealth, you're going to earn every penny of it. Unfortunately, you are when you marry for money. And it's not necessarily in a good thing and it's not necessarily in a bad thing, but it could be a very bad thing if this man is basically an abuser. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this whole being a trophy wife persona comes with a lot of mixed match energy. Most of the time, people who have money and are centered around the energy of success align themselves with people who are centered in that same energy. Rarely do you see that many of like the rags to riches story where a man takes in a single mom and he cares for them and he loves them and he's 100% the best stepfather ever. I would say I have seen some cases of this where this does happen. But when you are solely looking for somebody for the purposes of wealth, you have to remember that the energy of money is known to be one of the things that will make you do the most craziest things. A lot of people say that money is all evil. And the reason why is because look, this woman basically ignored signs, probably ignored the fact that she was not physically attracted to this man. She did not love this man. She basically took this man in became this man's trophy wife for a come up. I do believe that, yes, if you are looking for a high profile man, do it when you don't have small kids. You shouldn't be dating when you have small kids for money. It's different if you've are older and the kids are older and the kids are out of the home and the kids could talk or whatnot. But I definitely see that this whole chasing a man for a bag or chasing these man for this lifestyle is turning into like this whole era of young women who are just selling themselves short and selling their own potential short because they're chasing a man who they think has money. So it's a very sad case. I think what it teaches us in the moral of the story is that money is the root of all evil in certain situations. And also money will bring, when we are blinded by money and we are blinded by wealth, it will lead us into pathways that may feel very dark and twisted because we are selling our sense and selling ourselves short of our true potential and energy of possibility because we are so focused on money versus the actual love, compassion, strength, loyalty, support, and growth that is in a healthy relationship. Also, another thing I feel like this story taught is that women and men need to be focused on who it is that they receive their information from, who it is that they receive their resources, who it is that they allow to teach them. Because as we see, she was a, successful YouTuber. I think she had an account of like 40,000, which is a lot, or she was working on her account. I don't know her. I don't follow her, but she was working on her account and she was basically living a lie because she's teaching women how to find a man like her. And obviously her home life is not that great because she even talks about how he was abusive to her. So you shouldn't be giving advice, marriage advice, finding a man like yours when you are living in an abusive relationship. It's time to log off of social media. Like, in all honesty, this here and back and forth between her and like his family, it just got too much where I was like, I'm done watching this chick. I'm very sad for what has happened to her children because obviously it seems like she's too consumed with social media and content creation, and she's too consumed with being a trophy wife that somehow this abuse got mixed up. And I will say, you know, she got blindsided or what. And I'm not trying to victim blame at all, but also what also upset me is, who's to fucking say her kids wanted all this information? Her kids are literally like 2 and 4. And you're fucking telling your kids business on social media or for your fucking YouTube channel. These kids, not only were they violated allegedly by their father, but they're now fucking violated by the mother. So to me, I was just like so disgusted with this situation. And I understand if something traumatic happens to you in your life event. Something traumatic has happened to me in my life event. I talked about it on my channel because I wanted to get it out there. But if it was somebody with my children, I would be taking a break from social media, definitely, and it wouldn't be necessarily something I would be sharing on social media for my YouTube channel. This has more of a direct alignment with me, so this energy is more focused on me. But there's a lot of shit that I keep private in my own life because not everybody wants their fucking business on social media. And for a mother to do this to her own children, I felt like it was another sense of betrayal. And this is just me going on a fucking whims because this story has been trending all over my fucking timeline. And I just think this whole situation is a hot ass fucking mess. And it kind of started to occur right around Pluto and Aquarius. And also it started to occur right around the sun enters Sagittarius. So it was definitely some high energy, and also right around Venus in Capricorn, sextile Saturn, Pisces. So another thing that I saw on Pluto entering Aquarius was Elon Musk and Trump together looking at his space launch. And I thought that was interesting. You know, Trump's definitely going to be somebody who's going to give him some U.S. backing on all his space launches and experiments. Also, the U.S. And Russia has basically, the U.S. has been helping Ukraine ever since the Russian invasion, which marked 1,000 days after Pluto entered Aquarius. And then I believe Ukraine did attack Russia with some U.S. Missiles or some type of U.S. Arms, U.S. explosive. I'll be honest. I'm thinking two things are going to happen. I don't know. I'm thinking when Trump gets in office, he might pull out of Ukraine, and hopefully we don't end up going into some type of World War III. I also think that there's a high possibility that there could be a war coming up, especially with Pluto entering Aquarius. I feel like it could be a cyber war. I don't know. I feel like it could be a little bit different. I'm hoping it's not like a civil war, even though that's what some of the astrologers believe from the past situations. There could be like a civil revolution or some type of civil war. In all honesty, I'm not going to try to worry about it. I'm trying to live my life and take care of my family unit, and I think everybody should do the same. Also, look at ways that you can survive off the grid, like I said many times before. If for whatever reason we need to, because I'll be honest, shit hits the fan, I'm fucking moving to Mexico. Okay, I'm gonna become bilingual. Just give me dos momentos. And give me a second, and your girl is going to become bilingual, and we will be doing this podcast in Spanish and English, because I will get my Mexican citizenship so quick. It's actually something I've been thinking about getting. Anyways, I'm going to take my family, take my fur babies, and honey, we are crossing that border. They could build the fucking wall. And in all honesty, I feel like they could build that wall because a lot of Americans keep trying to go to Mexico anyways. And the Mexican president says she's going to send all you fools back. She's sending y'all back. But in all actuality, I'm just so over U.S. politics. And yeah, so it is what it is, right? But okay, let's continue with the astrology that's going to happen in December. And I definitely went on like a little fucking tangent there. So let's continue and let's keep this party moving. So for the most part, I am recording, just in case you're wondering, November 23rd. It is 9:30 a.m. In California. So it's 9:30 a.m. And the upcoming events that we have, of course, are the beautiful Mercury retrograde that is occurring on Monday. Mercury retrograde on a Monday. Are you fucking kidding me? But yes, it is occurring. So that's happening. And basically then we have Pallas enters Capricorn right around November 30th and the new moon in Sagittarius on November 30th. So let's continue on the energy of what is going on in December. So December's energy, I will be honest, I have not really looked at it. I haven't even take some turmoil intellectual business to even look at it. It's kind of frustrating when you think about just how the seasons are going and we are preparing for winter, and winter always feels like a very depressed season to me. It feels also like that time that you want to hibernate. It just feels like this energy where it's like, oh God, why is life doing this to me? And that's kind of like the energy that I feel in December. I feel very overwhelmed around the Christmas and the Thanksgiving. I don't know if it's the past energy of ancestral wounds. I don't know if it's the past energy of just my mom drinking too much Chardonnay and just mad chaos and my dog peeing on the fucking floor. Like, I don't know what it is, but something about these big events just give me the fucking heebie-jeebies. And I would rather like be mid-deep in spooky shit of October, but for whatever reason, once we get into November and December, it just feels like, ugh. And my sister is such a Christmas bitch. She's like, probably has her fucking tree up. She's probably like already, got lights everywhere and fucking has snowflakes and all that shit. And I'm just like, why isn't it still fucking Halloween? Like, why? Or summer. I love Halloween, I love spring, and I love summer. This other bullshit is just bullshit in between those amazing seasons. But let's get into it. So the retrograde's occurring and people are feeling frustrated, especially because we have Mercury and Sagittarius opposing Jupiter and Gemini. So that energy of communication and us taking a moment to really like pause might not be happening when the tequila is flowing, or the area of the energy of family, friends, chaos, movement. So it is very much of a clusterfuck right around December 4th as we have the sun in Sagittarius also squares Saturn in Pisces. So it's not a great day to be like socializing when we look at it. If you are having, because when we look at December 4th, it is a Monday. Like, why is all the astrological bullshit always happening on a fucking Monday? Can an astrologer please explain that to me? And, somebody told me, you're not an astrologer. Ha ha ha. That's the only thing that made sense to me. Yes, bitch. I know I'm not an astrologer because I don't want to be an astrologer, but you continue and do you, boo. So can somebody else explain this to me? Why does all the bad astrological shit, all the cluster fucks happen on a Monday? Astrology people, please, thank you. Also on December 4th, we have Venus in Capricorn sextiles Neptune in Pisces. Boom, 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 boom. And then we die down from that clusterfuck as we're probably fucking holiday shopping and trying to drink our peppermint Starbucks in peace. But somehow we realize we're stepping under the mistletoe with our ex. Like, is it not Mercury retrograde in the fucking Christmas season or what. But anyways, just all I have to say is be very conscious as what is going on. As we have December 5th, the sun in Sagittarius conjuncts Mercury in Sagittarius. So this is definitely that energy that is going to feel like we're going to want to go down memory lane. We're also going to want to explain our hardships. It's also going to be a time like we're going to want to talk about our peace and we're going to want closure. Sometimes we don't fucking need closure. Then just to spice it up a notch, because you probably been feeling like you're in a slump, but that energy of being in a slump is going to hit you 10 times fucking harder, because now on December 6th, we have Mars goes retrograde in Leo. And can we just talk about that day? We have 12/6/2024. Oh man. So if you thought last year's retrograde was a little bit difficult during the month of December, this one is really going to knock you off your feet in energies of you probably not having your shit together. I'm probably going to be big ugly girl crying. And that's okay. But this is a time that you're going to want to calm down. You're also going to want to take that initiative to understand that other people have to shine too. I know Mercury retrograde is not going to dim my light. I know Mercury retrograde is not going to put me back that much, but allow other people to shine. Allow that other girl to stunt her fucking cute office and to office apparel and to be that bitch. You don't have to be that one all the time. So this is going to be a time that we are going to want to humble the ego and watch what we say. Especially with Mars goes retrograde in Leo, I feel like many of us are going to feel we're just going to feel like our inner growth kind of being at a standstill. This is actually going to be the perfect time that we are going to want to hibernate our energy. And I'm going to talk more about that, how we're going to hibernate and come back 10 times harder, better, and more motivated for the spring. So there's a lot of new content coming out on the podcast that's going to be structured around more self-care and self-improvement. Like I told you guys, I am, going to finish up the astrology series, but for the most point, it's going to, the podcast is doing a transformation, bitch. It's Pluto in retrograde, and we're shaking things up a notch. Also, we have December 6th, Venus enters Aquarius. Venus enters Aquarius. Hey. For those who don't know, I am an Aquarius stellium, so that means I'm just that much better. But in all actuality, we're ending the year with spending it with our collective. It's time to put love, imagination, fruits of our labors into the energy of our inner circle, working together and not working self-centered. So I'm going to have to tame my Aquarius stellium. I know it. And also we're going to be looking around having social and also interactions. This could be maybe the time I get back on Clubhouse. I've been thinking about getting back on Clubhouse, but then there's a part of me that's I honestly can't keep up. So I can't do all the apps. I only have 3 that I basically pay attention to for the most part. Facebook I post on, but the engagement, I kind of slack on it and I should be better at it. TikTok, I'm pretty engaged in TikToks. Supposedly TikTok's getting banned. It's supposed to happen in January, so we'll see. If that happens, then maybe I'll become more on my Facebook page a little bit more. But supposedly TikTok's getting banned, and also Instagram. I want Instagram a lot, so follow me on Instagram. And of course, YouTube. I got the 2 YouTube channels. Follow them both. Chakras and Cusswords podcast, and also Nerf. I'm a Nerf. Nurse Love 101. So we have Venus enters Aquarius, and this is definitely a time for us to pay close attention to our loved ones and the energy of community. On December 7th, we have Ceres enters Aquarius. And Ceres enters Aquarius, maybe it's that an energy that brings us to volunteer and get ready for the holidays. Think of our energetic place of where it is that we want to be focused on the community and our personal goals. If you want to learn what Ceres means, definitely check out my podcast that I did on asteroids and small bodies and how it works with astrology, and that's on the astrology series. Also, we have on Venus 7th, Venus in Aquarius conjuncts Pluto in Aquarius. So this energy to me feels very dynamic. It also feels like it's bringing a shift to the collective. December 7th is a high energy day. December 4th and December 7th are definitely ones that you are going to want to enter onto your calendar as high energy days. I bought myself a calendar. I'm going to try to do better with my calendar. I'm going to try to write some of these astrology dates on my calendar and get more focused. It's like a big planner. I'm trying to bring back the big planner energy, but I don't know if it's going to work. But it's definitely a day that feels high energy. Also with relationships and areas of transformation and maybe even letting go certain aspects of certain relationships and moving forwards in areas that might feel more entwined with the individual when we look at that energy. Also, we have the Sun in Sagittarius opposing Jupiter in Gemini all around this time. So like I said, this energy is intense on December 7th. It's very intense. And December 7th to me feels very like, wow. It just feels like one of those days that is going to be like, wow, this is a unique vibe. This is a vibe that's kind of charming. It's kind of vibracious. It makes you want to be around relationships, friends, the collective energy around the coven, if you are that witchy witch, and be centered around moving forward and also pushing your limits. Another thing that's occurring, and I know this has already been like 3 major astrological events, but we have another one that's occurring on December 7th, and that's Neptune goes direct in Pisces. So this is very cool for us in some ways, because if we've been feeling like our energy of dreams or our energy of movement and our spiritual present has kind of been taking a seat back, this is going to be that time that we're going to get tantalized with our dreamy state. We're going to get a little bit more re-tantalized in the areas of our spiritual sense, also our areas of the consciousness where maybe Neptune was sleeping on us, right? A lot of people were maybe playing tricks on us, maybe lying to us, maybe letting us see that we are a little naive in certain situations, especially when it comes with our spiritual practices. And what's interesting is I do think like this whole trophy wife agenda is almost kind of like a spiritual practice. When I read the birth chart of Shira 7, and she's not the one who has the controversy surrounding her, but I do feel like the collective needs to hear this, because a lot of us have been centered about being masculine feminines. A lot of our mothers were masculine feminine. A lot of us are masculine feminine in the energy of we aren't necessarily in the home. We're working 2 jobs. We're working 1 job. We're doing all the things, motherhood, women, working. It's just like we're in all these places where our masculinity feels like an all-time high because so many of us are doing so many of the things. And I feel like Neptune goes direct in Pisces is going to allow us to get a little bit softer. It is going to allow us to get a little bit more beautiful. It is going to allow us to kind of get back into that dream energy, that dream cycle of being the divine feminine in our own spiritual presence. And one of the ways that we can tune into our femininity is slowing down. And I think that's something that the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is allowing us to slow down our masculinity. But once Neptune goes direct in Pisces, I feel like we're going to be able to really look at the overall essence of the spirituality of who it is that we are in our own spiritual presence. Then on 12/12, I love the energy of 12/12. 12/12 is really one of my favorite days. There's always something cool happening astrologically speaking on 12/12. Can the astrologers explain that, please? I'm like, okay, I'm like a little butthurt about that one troll in my comment. You're not an astrologer. You even said you're not an astrologer. I love the energy of 12/12. The energy of 12/12 is that energy of moving forward, continuing to grow, continuing to look at the areas of intuition, the energy of the divine, of the masculine, of the feminine, of the duality, of the two polarities. 1212 has a lot of sacred background. It has a lot of historical roots. I will be posting more about 1212 as we get closer. But on the astrology that is occurring on 1212, we have Venus in Aquarius opposing Mars in Leo. This is a time for us to feel aligned in who it is that we are. It might feel a little bit drastic as it is that opposing energy where it feels like it is like an opposition, it is a challenge. And there might be some times where we are looking at the energy of relationships and also how it is that we want to pay close attention to our relationships in our masculine energy, especially if we are a feminine, because Venus in Aquarius is a masculine center. So is Mars in Leo. So we have a very dominant masculine energy, allowing us to kind of pull and pull and pull until we realize like, whew, I can't pull no more. I want to do a release and I want to do a calming. And it allows us to kind of set back that space of our passion and look at the energy of our relationships and passion. It allows us to either see if we need to be more subtle or if we need to be more intense. And the Venus in Aquarius speaks to me in energies of the sacral chakra and also the energy of the third eye and the crown. And of course, with the heart chakra and the throat of expression. But it also allows us to tie in that energy of the Mars with the Leo as well. Also during this time, we have Mercury in Sagittarius, sextiles Venus in Aquarius. So it is definitely a time where the communication is going to be at an all-time high, especially around energy of our leadership, our energy of who it is and how dominant we feel around the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra, but also the energy around the relationships in our own personal space if we do need to increase that energy of passion. Look at December 15th as energies of moving towards finally having a clearer format of what it is that you are in your energy of collective circles and also in your energy of situations. As we have all this energy tied into the collective, we want to look at this full moon in Gemini as kind of being the brighter side to solving some of our problems and our situations with the social. Also, we want to look at it as energy of communication and our energy of being very direct with our communication, where maybe the last 3 weeks have not been playing us kindly. So it is a time that we're going to speak what it is that we need to speak, also resolve certain conflicts that really came up. And this is a perfect time to do so since we have Mercury goes direct in Sagittarius. So it's occurring on the same night as the full moon in Gemini. Wow, I love it. I love it. I love it. Then another very high energy day, a day that I would say definitely pay attention to, is December 19th as we have Venus in Aquarius trines Jupiter in Gemini. It is definitely the time we're going to want to feel like we are in the holiday season. We're also going to be feeling very excited about doing all the things, getting our cozy boots on, getting our cozy holiday vibe. It is going to be kind of like the burst of energy that we have right around the time that we get into the full Christmas, winter energy. So it is going to be kind of like that light that we feel before we either feel a little overwhelmed or before we either feel ready to move forward in certain situations. So it's definitely a time to, get centered where it is that we want to be more expanded, where it is that we want to put more growth, and how do we enter that in our relationships with self? How do we enter that relationship with the collective? How do we enter that relationship with us allowing us to do those things, looking at the process? I'm getting ready to post on Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, and one of the things that I am posting on is fuck the emotions right now. Fuck the emotions. fuck that energy of the mood, how you're feeling. Stick to the plan, babe. Stick to the plan for the winter. And it's kind of like me also giving myself that pep talk, because I will tell you, after I saw the cardiologist, I just want to cry and eat French fries, which are like the two things I probably shouldn't be doing, right? And drink a bottle of wine. So I'm definitely not drinking like I used to. And drink a bottle of wine, get some fucking French fries from McDonald's and a fucking Big Mac, and cry in my bed and watch Murder Mystery. But I didn't, right? I did cry, but I didn't hit the drive-thru. So it's allowing yourself to let the emotions go away and sticking to the plan. Also, on December 21st, we have Sun enters Capricorn, winter solstice. So this is actually the shortest day of the year, because the Earth and the Moon and the Sun are all equal. And it's creating this alignment where we are ready to start the next chapter of our next season. We're ready to start our next hibernation season. We are going to hibernate. We're going to hibernate in the winter, honey. I don't know that many of you guys know this, but I'm going to tell you guys this now. So this winter is going to be a very selfish winter. We're going to hibernate. We're going to practice on working on ourselves. We're going to practice on working on who it is that we are going to be. We're going to be structured around the movement of getting past the obstacles and completing the goals. So even though it occurs on the 1st of January, a lot of people have those New Year's resolutions. We're already going to be subtly doing it. So we're going to see all our growth, all our beautiful flowers bloom, all our beautiful movement take part in the spring. Even though we are subtly going to be working on this, we're going to come back 100% that bitch that they love to hate. And yeah, it's going to be beautiful. So make sure you tune in. So we're definitely going to be taking in this winter solstice energy, feeling aligned with our snowflake, feeling aligned with our snow energy, our snow bunny energy, if you are a Caucasian. No, just joking. I'll be feeling aligned with my wolf energy. I want you guys, also, this is something that I want you guys to look at. So spirit animals are very much a indigenous practice from the Native Americans, right? But we're not going to be looking at spirit animals for this winter. We're going to be looking at animal guides. So animal guides are the animals that hibernate in the month of the winter months, and they allow us to see their journey. They allow us to see the process of coming back, of taking that time of self-care, feeding the little baby cubs, feeding into the pack, nourishing their unit and nourishing their self. I want you guys to pick a winter animal. And when I mean a winter animal, what animal stands out to you in winter? A winter animal for you to look at as a animal guide. So for instance, is it a wolf? Is it a bear? Is it a hawk? Is it a penguin? Is it a polar bear? Is it a coyote? Is it a eagle? Is it some type of animal? And I want you to kind of look at this animal, look at what animal kind of resembles that winter aspect for you, and look at them, appreciate them, and learn some of their traits of strength. Learn some of their survival instincts of how they make it past the winter state, how they make it past that energy of winter. I want you to look at these animals with an open mind. And I want you to look at these animals with a big heart of all the energy of movement that they have to go through to create the area of being ready for the spring and summer. Also, we have, and put your winter animal in the comments. So if you are planning on doing this with me, I'm going to tell you which is my winter animal pretty soon. and put your winter animal in the comments. Okay, so also on December 24th, we have Jupiter in Gemini, square Saturn in Pisces. Lots of tension right around Christmas Eve. It's probably because they all know Jesus was a Pisces. Make sure you check out that little video I did on the YouTube and TikTok. Also, we have December 26th. If there's still some hostility in the house, clear it all out, as we have Mercury in Sagittarius squares Saturn in Pisces, Venus in Aquarius squares Uranus in Taurus. So definitely a negative mindset. Try to ground yourself, try to meditate. You only got to spend time with these people once a month. I mean, how often do you see your family? Me? Not so much. I'm just joking, Mom. I'm just joking. I love my family. But sometimes it can get intense. My dad's a very intense person. He's a very masculine energy. My mom's a very intense person. She's a very masculine energy as well. Sometimes family can get very intense, especially when there's a group of us. Honey, so clear that house, baby. Wash them walls. So December 29th, we have Chiron goes direct in Aries. And, Chiron, it's been a process. So if we're getting back on our healing journey, get back up. I'll probably be done with my healing journey. For this month by then. And then I'll have to, think another thing that I have to heal from. Luckily, I got enough trauma for it. Fuck. Okay. But Chiron goes direct. So if we've been feeling like we've been slacking on our healing journey, if we've been slacking on the past reflection, if we've been slacking on moving this energy clean, maybe do a cord cutting ceremony on some of the old notions, some of the old practices, letting some of that energy burn away, right? Burn some shit in your cauldron, release that energy. Allow the reflection to kind of keep back up, allow the healing to take place. And then on December 30th, of course, we have a new moon in Capricorn, because it's time to write those New Year resolutions that none of us are going to fucking do anyways. But yes, new moon in Capricorn occurring on December 30th. So get ready to basically visualize new year, new me. If any one of you post those memes, unfollow me. No, I'm just joking. I love you guys. New moon, same me, new goals. Let's get it. So I just want to thank everybody for listening to this extra long podcast. Love you guys all so much. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share this with your fucking witchy bestie. Have a great day. Don't forget to give me a little rating on the podcast ladder. It helps me move up this horrible podcast chain. I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.